everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. I do upload on Thursday, so when you subscribe, you will be alerted by way of notification when I've uploaded new content for your view. And of course, my pleasure, and it is indeed my pleasure. It's my pleasure to do so. Happy New Year. I'm wearing my little New Year tiara. And so this will be part 2. Yesterday, I uploaded New Year's Eve video on resolutions, and today would be New Year's Eve resolutions part 2. Today would be New Year's resolutions part 2. So a little review of yesterday's, and I will upload it in the description box for this this video. So it'll be in the description box. And yesterday's, I talked about how we often find ourselves doing a New Year's resolution, and how we, decide that we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then often we never do. Sometimes we don't start, or we don't finish. It's one of the two. And many times we have the same resolution every year after year, and how that is a violation to our soul contract, because the word soul is in the word resolution, and all of the desires that we have come from our soul. We were often trained. I know I was often taught. I was often preached or even at conferences that the desires of our heart comes from our mind. The desire, they get in our head from our mind. So and the desires of our heart will well up into our minds for us to do it, but actually it comes from our souls. And here, particularly in America, I don't think we've ever really been taught that, or tapped into that, or shown that. I know in my world, and I don't know anyone else who has even been shown the importance of the soul and the contract we make with our soul, and that the desires actually come from there. So that's what today's talk would be about for me, is addressing resolutions from the part of the soul. And by the way, having faith in those. Today is the last day of Kwanzaa. I hope you celebrated Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, despite or in addition to what else you celebrate for your holidays, is a wonderful principled celebration in which it is a principle every day. Self-determination, creativity, I think, was yesterday. Purpose was the day before. And today is faith. It's the word for faith is imani. And to have faith. So let's have faith in a new way of approaching our resolutions. Okay? So come into my world where you're always invited. And let's just start there. Starting with being kind to our mind. And by the way, thank you, my God brother, for allowing me the use of your anime for this and yesterday's upload. So thank you, B flat. When we say resolution, we have to remember the first two letters is RE. RE is always again. Okay, so RE is again, repeat, do that again, recall, call that again, remember, think of that again, relate, understand, understand that again, relate, connect again, reunite, go to that person again, recommit, go back to. Resolution is to do it again. But it's not to do it repeatedly. Repeat means to do it again and again and again. There needs to be a stop of it. So my intention for this talk is to have us reverse, R-E, reverse, go the other way, if you will. Go the other way than the way we went, so that we can get it done. Because most of the times we have another resolution is because we haven't done that one yet. And then we become in a pattern of not doing it yet. again and again and again. So what is again and again and again? It's repeat. We repeat our failures. Mhm, mhm. We repeat not getting what we don't want, and we begin to tell ourselves that it's okay. It's not okay. Your soul is requiring it. Your soul is requesting. It's a quest. Request. Require. This is why when you don't do it, it's like inside of you. It won't go away because it is asking you to care. What the soul gonna do? Just jump out of you and do it? You are the commodity of your body. We we are the commodity of our bodies. This is why I can't stand it when a person mistreats, hurts their body. You know, people do drugs and alcohol. I understand. I know it's an imperfect world. I know it's an imperfect world. People do what they do for whatever reason they do that got them to do it in the first place. I get it. And not everyone's going to be fit. And not and the people are some people are going to be overweight. I get it. That's not what I'm saying at all. Let's set it straight. What I'm talking about is when there is a purposeful intent of harm. That's what I mean. If you're overweight, you may come from a big bone family. I remember hearing Oprah one time say, no matter what I do, the weight comes back. I just have to resolve. There you go, resolution. Resolve to the fact that I come from a big bone family. That's okay. That's what she's not hurting herself through that. I'm talking about the hurting part, which is why you can't get to the resolution. So let's just talk about why we never achieve the same resolution over and over again. It's because you lied to your soul. The moment you spoke it, you made a contract with your soul. Words are very powerful. I grew up, my grandfather used to always tell me, when you give your word is your bond. It's more important than your signature. You see how it came out? My training. I grew up with my grandfather, and my grandfather would say, your word is your bond. When you give your word is more important than your signature. It's equal to your blood. So if you're not going to do it, don't say it. So I would never say something if I wasn't going to do it. You know, it's an imperfect world. Sometimes I'm older now. I forget things. It's not intentional. If I say I'm going to pick you up at the airport, I'm going to pick you up on the airport, and I will not be late for you. You're important. Your flight coming at 10, your flight will come in at 10:30. I'll be there at 10 o'clock, if not earlier. You're important. So this is what I'm talking about. So for the resolution, the soul, once you make an agreement, it's coming from within you. It's a desire from within you that you want, and the soul is asking for you to go fetch it. Mm-hmm. Who else is going to get it? You want to lose 10 pounds? Who else is going to do it? You want to meet somebody special? Who else is going to do it? You want a promotion at work? You gotta work. Who else is going to do it? So it's requiring you to do it. So when you say you'll do it and you don't do it, it's like you lied to yourself, and the soul comes after you. First, you get a pass. First, it's like training wheels. You get a pass and another pass, and after a while, it begins to slay you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because you lie. No one wants to use the word lie. It's a very strong word. But what do you say when a person says they're going to do something and they don't do it? Repeatedly. You said that. You was going to do it. You didn't do it. Your word is your bond. All of that. So let me tell you what. So that's the resolution. That's a soul contract. A soul contract cannot be a soul contract cannot be bonded. It has to be performed. You have to perform it. I can't perform your soul contract for you, and you can't perform mine for me. You didn't speak my words. I spoke my words. I can hear yours like you're hearing mine, but you're not speaking my words. Only I can speak my word. is why I think, these are my words, this is why I think divorce is so treacherous, because you gave vows before everyone. I love you with my heart and soul. And maybe the divorce was not, maybe the person did something, but both of you entered into that sacred contract. So the divorce, it goes like, no divorce, I don't care how amicable you claim it is, no divorce is easy, because you're untying souls. You're untying. Anyway, that's a different subject. I want to focus on acquiring our resolutions. In order to recommit, remember, we're going back. You're doing again. You're reversing. You're going back. The prodigal son went back home. A soldier from war goes back home. Coming out of surgery, you go back home. Getting off of drugs and alcohol, you go back to yourself, back to your home, back. You go back. So we're going back. We're reversing all the ways we had that didn't allow us to acquire our resolution because of how we entangled ourselves before with false promises that we made for one another until we become like this ball, all tangled up. We're in the center, but we become all tangled up, and we have to pull these pieces off just to get to our center. And if this thing could feel, it would say, ow, it hurts. Oh, it hurts. But you have to do the work to get back to your center. And what is that your center but your soul? And what's in your soul but your values? Your integrity, your peace, your honor, your virtue. And see, what has happened is that we have discounted those for so long that they seem almost pious now. But they're the cornerstone of who we are. When those are in, this is how I know when a person, so I talk about dark energy of a person who does a shady, shoddy, shameful thing to another person, like ghosting and mistreating them. That person is in a dark soul place. A good soul place would never allow you to do it. A good soul place will stop. You wouldn't even think of it. This is how I know. You wouldn't even think of it. So having said that, in order for you to do those negative things, your soul is in balance. Those virtues are in balance. If you were a person of honor, how would you dishonor another person by doing such a thing? Because it reflects back on you. If you were a person of integrity, how could you even think to violate another person, to steal from another person, to all of this? Nobody's perfect. I'm not talking about perfect. I'm talking about character. This is why when I hear a person tell, I've had many people tell me, it's easy for you to do. No. Mm-mm. Anything I can do, you can do too, and better. Don't do this to me. I won't receive that. And let me tell you why. People have value. People have purpose. When you are kind to another person, when you are mindful of another person, when you're respectful, loving, generous, open, you wouldn't think to do that. Now, if a person has something coming and you're at odds with each other, sometimes you see the energy? You got to let them know. Don't step on my standard that way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your natural essence. This is why when women come to me and say, oh, I wish I could be more ladylike, but I ain't got time for that, and just because you've learned to lessen your queendom. You wanted to be that girl, that, like I say, that thought, and that you wanted to be all that. You wanted to be this, what they got, this influencer where you kiss this and all this stuff, and everybody's doing the same thing. Will a real woman of strength and honor stand up? You will. Not knocking anybody. You do you, boo. I'm talking about resolutions. Return back to who you are. Then the resolutions will just slide off. Your natural beauty, what is it? I'm not talking about a physicality look. I'm talking about your internal compass, your respect. When I was growing up, you never ever would use profanity in people that were adulthood to you. It's an upbringing. I don't do it today. Well, I don't use profanity much anyway. You gotta really make me mad, make me go there. But it's your balance. So if you want your resolutions to work, return back to what's weighing them down is your center is blocked. Our center is so deeply blocked. Try it. I guarantee you, once you do that, the resolutions will because now you're free. You wouldn't think to do the behaviors that are unbecoming of a king like you are, or a queen like you are. You wouldn't even think of it because it's beneath you. You cherish the sacredity of your soul. Once you do that, once you be kind to your mind, be loving to your heart. So let me start over. Once you be kind to your mind, kindness is what will penetrate your mind. When you're loving from your heart, lovingness is what will penetrate your heart. When you are grateful from your soul, gratitude is these are the things, it's just spiritual science, just natural science. It's just the truth. It's just the God honest truth. So let your resolve to do that, to fix that part of you. Don't write it down. Be it. Once, put yourself first on the nice. Work on you. Put yourself first on this nice list. Even if it's you by yourself. If it's you and someone else who you haven't been nice to, fix it. Apology, behavior, and conduct. If you also want an apology, even if you change your behavior and your conduct, in which we've been talking about, you still owe an apology. The soul is still going to be out of sync with you because you owe someone that. So be nice to you. Be kind to your mind. When you do that, by default, peace will appear. Peace will appear. It will just appear. And all your relationships, they will just start finding peace. All you're doing is flowing. All you're doing is flowing. All you're doing is seeking to flow. This is your resolution. It's bringing yourself back to you. Nobody. So bring yourself back to the peace of that. Forget about a diet. Forget about a vacation. Work on you and restore the foundation of your joy. You deserve it. Restore the foundation of your joy. You'll begin to have joyous relationships. You deserve it. We all deserve it. And as I said earlier, today is the last day of Kwanzaa in way of celebrating it traditionally. And its principle for the day is faith. I have faith in you that you'll do it. reconcile that relationship, reunite with that person. What you have the benefit of the doubt, and let me tell you why. During the season, it's basically from Thanksgiving. I want to say November 25th. November 25th, all the way to I think around my birthday, which is January 16th. So from November 25th to January 16th every year, there is a season where people are willing to work together, the season in the air, the thanksgiving, the thankfulness, the gratitude. Then that's followed with the spirit of Christmas. And then we have Kwanzaa and all the principles of Kwanzaa. Then we're here today with the fresh new year. And before we get befuddled back to who we have Martin Luther King's Day, which is often my birthday. So grateful for that, where we are reminded of the character of our content. We are reminded of the dreams that we have for ourselves and our family and our nation. We are reminded of that. Now, if 3 months, November, December, and January, if 3 months can't penetrate you, what will fix you? Flow for you. You can do it. It's nonsense to say you can't. That love you want is waiting on it. That friendship you want is waiting on it. That job promotion you want is waiting on it. That better you is waiting. You deserve it. And I love you. I do. I love you. I want to kiss this guy. Here, y'all, I'm gonna go. But Happy New Year. I didn't want this, and no, it didn't. Okay. I didn't want this to sound sermonic or preachy, and I don't believe that it did. It's encouraging because we don't have what we don't have because we haven't done those pieces. This starts with an apology and a change in our behavior and a change in our conduct. And to stop denial lying to ourselves. Never lie to yourself, never ever again. Okay? Promise me that. And I love you. Happy New Year. Bye. I love you. Bye.